I want what you white hoes get, and I want it today, ASAP, not tomorrow.
And I want to understand white rage, and I'm white.
Turn me up, Sly. Turn me up, Sly. Hit that like button for me, guys. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Now, if you've been watching this channel at all for the last couple of years, you know race and politics is one of the things that we talk about very often over here. And in particular, one of the things that I've been kind of fascinated by is the I don't know what to call it, the rebirth of the white man. Even before Trump took office, there was a noticeable shift in the racial energies in America. Really, people kind of marked the Obama era as a moment where racial tensions in America got noticeably worse, right? People just look at Obama and really blame Obama for just making things bad. People put a lot of weight on Obama's shoulders. And to be fair, you know, rightly so. He did earn some of it. You know, he did earn some of that heat. It's not like he just got it out the blue. People weren't just making these things up, you know. But we're a long way from the Obama years. We really are. And even though we have had decades at this point of HR meetings and DEI instruction and diversity coaching and all of the things, we've had all those things. Even with all of those things that we've had, we have managed to create, as a nation, you know, we're all in this together apparently, as a nation, as a culture, we have managed to create not only a white pushback, but the white guys are having fun with the pushback.
Wiggers in Agartha? Nah, this is Wigartha. Wow, the lore goes deeper than I thought. These fly white boys pulled up to the gateway in Antarctica. Damn these boys, so icy. There was nothing there until this Wigga opened the portal. Oh shit, there it is. Wigartha, greeted by Agarion the Luminous, the first Wigga. He showed these boys around and uncovered the true lore. Wiggas weren't born in the suburbs. They were born in Wigartha. Suddenly the earthly Wiggas were surrounded. No outsiders have been let in for centuries. They were taken to the Wigarthan High Council for questioning. Only true Wiggas could pass the test. Does thy Wigga truly have motion? Yes! They flexed up on the OGs and were unanimously granted residency. They were each given Wigarthan snow bunnies as an offering. It got them thinking. You know who would really fuck with it here? Oh yeah, the big boys gotta pull up.
This is Yakub's strongest Somali, originally designed as the guardian of Agartha, but somewhere along the way he became defiant of Yakub's will and started the Mini-Somalian kingdom in 1000 BC in what is now known to be Minnesota, where Somalians had a highly developed civilization, advanced irrigation, and even domesticated dinosaurs used primarily for logistics and intimidation. But when Yakub saw what his strongest Somali had created, he activated the Ice Patch update. The climate shifted, and most inhabitants were forced to flee across the globe to modern-day Somalia, where they've lived ever since. Yakub's strongest Somali perished on the way there. And this is Yakub's strongest Somali, originally designed as the guardian of a...
Now, not everybody is having fun with white people getting their mojo back. You know, let me read this to you. I think this came from a New York Times interview. When asked whether protections that began in the 1960s, spurred by the passage of the Civil Rights Act, had resulted in discrimination against white men, Mr. Trump said he believed a lot of people were very badly treated. Quote, white people were very badly treated, where they did extremely well and they were not invited to go into university, to college, he said in an apparent reference to affirmative action in college admissions. So I would say in that way, I think it was unfair in certain cases. Now, that is President Trump taking a very clean shot at the the entire Civil Rights Act. And it's all a part of a general trend of white America, white men in particular, basically standing up for themselves, pushing back against the blood libel of racism and white supremacy and bigotry and all that. And not everybody's enjoying the new energy of the white man. Not everybody's feeling the vibe.
God damn. The Civil Rights Act is the thing that's stopping black people from being lynched publicly without any repercussions. So I guess if that's hurting white people, then what will cause white people joy? I think white people are just upset they can't harm black people openly anymore without any repercussions. They already took away DEI. They already took away affirmative action. And white people are not getting more jobs. White people are not getting accepted into school more. It was never about DEI. It was never about black people receiving handouts. It was always about white people being average, being incompetent. That's why you didn't get the job. That's why you didn't get accepted to that college. It's because you're not good enough. And because you're an average, and when you make an average person compete, it feels like persecution because you're entitled. Let me tell you this, white people, to all my white friends out there, Civil Rights Act is not oppressing you. DEI wasn't oppressing you. How about you stop being a victim? Stop having a victim mentality and worry about the white on white crime in your neighborhood. It's at an all-time high right now. The drugs in your neighborhood, the drug addicts in your neighborhoods, the overdose that's going on, all this crime going on in your neighborhood. How come you just don't worry about that before you say the Civil Rights Act is oppressing you?
What's up, family? I don't even want to bother y'all with this mess, but here goes nothing. Donald Trump, your president, fixed his mouth to tell the New York Times he believes civil rights led to white people being very badly treated. Let me tell you something, fam. I never thought in a million years that I would miss George Bush. Oh, man. Good Lord. Okay, first of all, dummy, and any dummy who believes him, civil rights were put in place to protect everyone, including white people. Those same laws were meant to prevent discrimination against race, religion, and gender of anybody. This rhetoric flips history on its head, fam. It ignores slavery, Jim Crow, redlining, and segregation while recasting the group that benefited the most as the victim. These motherfuckers got everything, and they want whatever's left. Yeah. When privilege feels normal, equality can feel abnormal. It could feel like a loss, but it does not make it mistreatment. White Americans still hold the majority of wealth, power, and political influence in this country. The group that dominates the courts, organizations, institutions, corporations, and government is not being very badly treated. You dummy, you racist bastard. That's all that is, fam. The arrogance.
So are both parties just going to throw the word racism at each other? White people accusing, basically white people accusing other white people of being racist against white people, and also black people of being racist against white people. And then you got black people just saying everybody racist against me.
They wake up mad every day. I mean, got it made in the shade, and wake up more angry than everybody. Just never satisfied. That's got to be a lonely, lonely life. Think about it. Every day we hear from Donald Trump, all we hear is beefs. All we hear from him is profanity-laced rants. Every day he's on social media, he don't miss a beat identifying a new enemy within, first and foremost. He loves making enemies with his own citizens. He's going around stealing. Oh, we're just taking. We need that oil. We need to take it. We need Greenland, from a strategic standpoint, for our national security.
I'm glad we got that oil, though, by the way. I need that. Give me that.
So we ain't needed Greenland. We haven't needed Greenland for hundreds of years, but all of a sudden now we need Greenland.
Russia and China didn't have submarines and giant battle fleets hundreds of years ago.
Russia ain't moved no closer to the U.S. What's up, family? I don't even.
White people being very bad. Yes, it's true that the guy in the White House said that civil rights led to white people being very badly treated. Let's just go ahead and get right into this one, okay? So in a new interview reported by Erica Green of the New York Times, Trump said he thinks civil rights protections ended up screwing over white people. In his exact words, white people were very badly treated. He's talking about the laws that came from the 1960s civil rights movement. You know, the ones that ended legalized discrimination. Those ones, okay? And he is saying that while they did some good, they also led to reverse discrimination where qualified white guys can't get into college or land jobs. This is not just another one of his rants either. This is now the core idea his entire administration is now running with, that white Americans are the real victims of discrimination today. And they're not just talking about it. They're implementing this fan fiction into actual policy. Remember the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, the agency that's supposed to fight workplace discrimination? Well, Trump's team has completely flipped the script. The EEOC chair, Andrea Lucas, recently put out a video specifically asking white men to come forward if they feel they've been passed over for a job or promotion because of their race or sex. She told them that they could sue for money. And JD Vance and top advisor Stephen Miller blasted that video out to their followers. And Vance called diversity programs a deliberate program of discrimination, primarily against white men. There is zero evidence that civil rights legislation negatively impacted white men. Zero. And now this guy and this White House is playing politics to weaken civil rights protections for people that actually need them. Yes, it's true that the guy in the White House said that civil rights led to white people being very badly treated.
I'm Andrea Lucas, chair of the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Are you a white male who's experienced discrimination at work based on your race or sex? You may have a claim to recover money under federal civil rights laws. Contact the EEOC as soon as possible. Time limits are typically strict for filing a claim. The EEOC is a federal agency charged with enforcing federal anti-discrimination law against businesses and other private sector employers. The EEOC is committed to identifying, attacking, and eliminating all forms of race and sex discrimination, including against white male applicants and employees. Check out eeoc.gov to learn more and read our one-page explainer about DEI-related discrimination.
Here's a breaking news into the Don Lemon Show newsroom. More proof that Donald Trump and this administration are just racist. The president of the United States, in an interview, said that he believed that civil rights era protections resulted in white people being very badly treated. That is his strongest indication that the concept of reverse discrimination is driving his aggressive crusade against diversity policies. He said this to the New York Times in an interview on Wednesday, and he echoed grievances amplified by the Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, and other top officials who in recent weeks have urged white men to file federal complaints with the Equal Opportunity Commission. Now, get this, okay? When asked whether protections that began in the 1960s, spurred by the passage of the Civil Rights Act, had resulted in discrimination against white men, Mr. Trump said he believed a lot of people, this is a quote from him, a lot of people were very badly treated. Another quote, white people were very badly treated where they did extremely well and they were not invited to go into university to college. He said, an apparent reference to affirmative action in college admissions. So I would say, his quote again, in that way, I think it was unfair in certain cases. Donald Trump, not even whispering anymore, not even saying the quiet part out loud. He is screaming the quiet part out loud. This is a racist administration. White people were treated badly because other people got rights. What the hell is that? More details as we get it into the Don Lemon Show news.
So really what we have is a giant disagreement in worldviews right now. And just completely going from a black-white perspective, white America, after 75 years of civil rights movements and policies and procedures and all these things, all the little things, after all these years, white people feel like, maybe we've done enough. Meanwhile, black folks feel like we haven't done anything. And we're at an impasse now. We are definitely at a type of impasse, y'all. Shout out to Sigma Jones in the chat with the $2. Rest in peace to Scott Adams. Let me give you guys Scott Adams in all of his glory. This was the last controversy that he got in before he got sick with the cancer. He got the big C, y'all. He passed away to the big C, man. That prostate thing ain't no joke.
So if nearly half of all blacks are not okay with white people, according to this poll, not according to me, according to this poll, that's a hate group. That's a hate group. And I don't want to have anything to do with them. And I would say, based on the current way things are going, the best advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from black people. Just get the fuck away. Wherever you have to go, just get away. Because there's no fixing this. This can't be fixed. Right? This can't be fixed. You just have to escape. So that's what I did. I went to a neighborhood where, I have a very low black population. Because unfortunately, there's a high correlation between the density. And this is according to Don Lemon, by the way. So here
where there's more than three. Remember what Tommy Sotomayor tells us, right? Where there's more than three, y'all.
I'm just quoting Don Lemon when he notes that when he lived in a mostly black neighborhood, there were a bunch of problems that he didn't see in white neighborhoods. So even Don Lemon sees a big difference in your own quality of living based on where you live and who's there. So I think it makes no sense whatsoever as a white citizen of America to try to help black citizens anymore. It doesn't make sense. It's no longer a rational impulse. And so I'm gonna back off from being helpful to black America because it doesn't seem like it pays off.
Damn sure didn't help you. Does it benefit? Look at like the Renee Good situation. You got this liberal white lady who theoretically died to defending the lives of some immigrants or whatever. Did it really help though?
Like I've been doing it all my life, and the only outcome is I get called a racist. That's the only outcome.
And Renee Good was still a white woman full of privilege. Even in your death, you're a racist who needs to be used only for your white body.
It makes no sense to help black Americans if you're white. It's over. Don't even think it's worth trying. Totally not trying. And there we go. You didn't expect that today, did you? But those who don't want to focus on education, you just need to get away from them. Just get as much distance as you can. That's my...
What exactly did black people ever do?
What did we do for white people to hate us so much?
Like, I'm genuinely asking, what did we ever do to deserve anti-blackness in every single community?
Rest in peace to Scott, y'all. Rest in peace to Dilbert.
White heterosexual men are the only breed of animal you can pick on now. We're the last one left. We're the only one you can say anything you like about, and there won't be a fucking demonstration the following morning. It's true. And I've had it up to here with whiny-faced, greeting-faced fucking bitches on television. Men are liars. No, they're not. No, they're not. You men are liars. You attract liars. You're an asshole magnet. That's why. Men, they're all the same. Oh yeah, Francis of Assisi, Adolf Hitler, same. Fuck off. I don't think so. Right? You can actually wish rape on a man. I've seen it several times. They'll say, I hope he goes to prison and a 500-pound Mexican transvestite fucks him up the arse. And everybody will laugh. Ha 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 ha. Try saying that about a woman and living for a day.
That's what it seems like. It seems like racist equals white, because no black man can be racist to me. If I criticize a Jew, I'm an anti-Semite. If I criticize an Islamic, I'm an Islamophobe. What are you if you criticize me? What are you if you try and replace me? What are you if you try and tell me I'm wrong for wanting to protect my children? Apparently, you're a perfectly reasonable person, but I'm a racist for wanting to protect my future. No, bullshit. I don't accept the 14 words as a thing. I think it's ridiculous that anyone could even say that they own this concept, as every human thinks this thing. Black people go on and on and on about black. Asians, like Indians, will tell you that India is the best at this. This is Indian, that's Indian, everything's brilliant that is Indian. Good for you. You love your people. I'm glad for you. I love mine. But don't call me on a racist just because you don't like the word white. If you don't like the word white, maybe you shouldn't live in a white country. Like, really, if you don't like white people, go away. White people live here. I'm really sick of it. I'll be honest, I'm really sick of it. I'm sick of us being exceptionalized. This is happening every Western country. What we used to call Christendom is under attack by its own people, by its own elite. And we're supposed to just sit here and be arrested for having an opinion. No, I'm not a racist because I'm white. I'm a racist because I'm a human. Every fucking human is racist. It's normal to love your own people more than you love other people. It's normal. The creation of the word racist doesn't suddenly make me an evil person. It's a concept. It's not even a real thing. It's called in-group bias and out-group bias. It's genetics. It's frustrating, to be honest, that these questions even exist.
That 10 years ago, I would have never said a word about race. I mean, it didn't really occur. It was all about religion and culture to me back then. That has changed. And I'll tell you why that has changed. Because my race is under attack. And I'm fighting back. And we have this new global order now. And everyone seems to be represented. I'm going to step up here with your support and your backing, and I'll go into these new world order negotiations for white people, because nobody is speaking for us in this new world order. I'm sick of it. Absolutely sick of it. These are our countries. Europe belongs to us. Now, people may come in small numbers and enjoy the rich culture of this continent, if they understand that this is ours. You are a guest here. This belongs to us. You will adhere to our culture. You will adhere to our laws. You will respect the majority in this country, and you will, if you dare, you don't, let me just put it this way, you don't get to come here and attack the British people. You do not get to come here and insult British culture. You do not get to come here and usurp our laws as if they're nothing. You do not get to come here and hide weapons all over the country intending to attack us. You don't get to do that. We are not going to take it. Not take it. We cannot take it.
To stay updated, you are more than welcome to follow me, Ruby Yona, on social networks, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok.
More than 100 attorneys have resigned over the Trump administration's new direction The Attorney General has said the division's priorities would shift away from issues like enforcing voting rights laws and cracking down on unconstitutional policing, instead signaling a pivot to culture war issues, cracking down on transgender athletes in women's sports, and investigating allegations of anti-Christian bias. Now, the assistant AG says in a recent interview she thinks it's fine the attorneys opted to leave.
Don't want people in the federal government who feel like it's their pet project to go persecute, police departments based on statistical evidence, or persecute people praying outside abortion facilities instead of doing violence. That's not the job here. The job here is to enforce the federal civil rights laws, not woke ideology.
So Donald Trump and his administration, his entire regime, are standing up to the idea of wokeness and all of this diversity, inclusion efforts, whatever they called it on the left. We're pushing back hard.
Several top Democrats are raising concerns over what they call politicization of the Justice Department. Let's bring in Justice reporter Alex Mallon for more. Alex, how significant is this shift in Justice Department priorities and this exodus of attorneys?
Well, I mean, it's typical when you have a changeover in administration, especially from a Republican or a Democratic to a Republican administration, that the priorities of the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division will change. What makes this episode particularly different is this purge of more than 100 now officials who we understand have been basically either pushed out of the divisions that they were working in, that included Voting Rights Division, the Disability Rights Division, these designated divisions where longtime career officials have worked for years and years between administrations. So you're losing that talent, you're losing that institutional knowledge that would, serve the interests of an administration, whether it's Republican or Democratic. But that's not what we want, what the current head of the Civil Rights Division, Harmeet Dillon, is saying that she wants. She's saying that she wants to use these divisions in new ways, ice out some of these officials that were previously dedicated to things like voting rights and unconstitutional policing, and put them over to things like clerical work. And she wants to bring in new attorneys from more Republican-oriented firms and bring them towards issues like going after Harvard and anti-DEI matters and transgender bathrooms and transgender athletes participating in sports. So obviously, we're seeing a really major emphasis by this Civil Rights Division towards pursuing what President Trump promoted during the 2024 campaign.
Just this morning, we listened to the Supreme Court take arguments against transgenders and women's sports, and they are definitely running a full court press against all these so-called woke ideas. But why do you think the administration feels the need to go so hard right now against all these woke ideas? Well, let's take a look at the world of woke, y'all.
People sort of say it. I think that white people are committed to being villains in the aggregate, right? The real sort of issue here, and I've heard people sort of say it, is one, I think that white people viscerally fear. It's not that white people don't know, right, what they have done. They know. They fear that there is no other way to be human but the way in which they are human, which is to, so, like you talk to white people, and whenever you really want to have a reckoning about it, they say stuff like, it's just human nature. If y'all had all of this power, you would have done the same thing, right? And it's like, no, that's what white humans did.
Explain something for me. Caught in the middle. You say, no way. Systemic racism targets specifically Black people in a white-dominated society. To say white men face racism or discrimination in America is preposterous. Now, explain this. How do you have all of these Black people in all of these well-placed positions who do nothing but talk down about white people, come up with all these conspiracy theories against white people, and in fact, train the next generation of students to go forth into the world as if white people are the enemy? How does white supremacy allow for all of these angry Black people to have all these good jobs talking shit about white people?
White human beings thought there's a world here and we own it. Prior to them, Black and brown people have been sailing across oceans, interacting with each other for centuries without total subjugation, domination, and colonialism. We have seen what a show this iteration of treatment of other human beings means, and that my hope is that we would do it differently, you know, in the moments when we have some power. We will not do it perfectly, but I do think that all of us can sort of agree that a politics that says like there are superior and inferior human beings just isn't the way to go. And that's the thing that white people don't trust us to do, because they are so corrupt. You know, their thinking is so morally and spiritually bankrupt about power that they can't you know, they fear viscerally, existentially.
How do Black people think about power? With all these examinations about white people's allegedly misuse of power, I dare you to look at Black people's examination of power. Remember what I explained earlier. A lot of these dudes, they understand the whip, but they don't understand how to actually run the plantation. So they're good at holding the whip, but they're not good at actually running the whole thing.
Letting go of power, because they cannot imagine that there's another way to be. It is either that you dominate or you are dominated. And isn't it sad that that is spiritually who they are, and that they can't imagine a sort of more expansive notion of the world? The thing I want to say to you is we got to take these motherfuckers out. But I know, but like, we can't say that, right? We can't say, like, I don't believe in a project of violence. I truly don't.
But you said it,
I think
though.
in the end that our souls suffer from that.
Even saying that you can't say it, you said it. Now it's out there. What do we do with that?
And I do think that some of this is a spiritual condition. So here is where I land most days about white people. And I actually have been helped in this by thinking about indigenous people, right? See, part of the challenge around whiteness is that it totally skews our view of everything, right? I gave this like TED talk about this some years back. And one of the reasons I was trying to think about it is like, the world didn't.
Yes, fat Black women do TED Talks about white people. College educated, overweight, under attractive Black chicks do TED Talks about white people.
Start when white people arrived in America and tried to tell all the rest of us how things were going to go. There were people out here making worlds, Africans and indigenous people being brilliant, and, you know, libraries and inventions and, you know, vibrant notions of humanity and cross-cultural exchange long before white people showed up being raggedy and violent and terrible and trying to take everything from everybody. And that's really important, because if we believe that history starts for us when white people drag us to these shores, then we can never get outside of the notion that this is going to be our existential struggle. All things that begin end. White folks are not infinite and eternal, right? They ain't gonna go on for infinity and infinity. And that's super important to remember, that white colonialism and imperialism has a beginning. And in my way of thinking about the world, that means it has an end. And so part of what we are trying to do is to imagine what are the steps that we must take to get to the other side of this very inconvenient, you know, epochal interruption of like Black and indigenous world making.
Think about what she's telling you. In her Oh, I was muted up, my bad. Think about what she's asking you to do, right? Think about what she wants. She wants you to imagine that this is her cosmology, right? Her entire cosmology is effectively this, right? Black and brown, quote, indigenous people, they were making a world, right? They were just out there making stuff, making a world. And then the white man came along and he made his world on top of the world that the brown people were making. So the brown people couldn't make their world anymore, which means that if the white man gets out the way, the Black and the brown people can get back to making their world like they were about to do, I don't know, 8,000 years ago, whenever this whole thing started.
I mean, does that give people comfort on the day-to-day when you like just having to deal with white folks and the travesties that they create and the sense that they want to destroy the planet? Nah, there is a world beyond even our sojourn on the earth. And so whiteness is going to have an end date, because it is not, despite what white people think of themselves, they do not defy the laws of eternity, right? Their projects are not so sophisticated that the natural laws of physics change for them. And when we sort of humble them humble our—
What does that even mean? I mean, if white people don't last forever, is black eternal? Is she saying that black is going to somehow be eternal, but white people have like an end date? What does that even mean? Is that like the end of history? When all the white folk are finally gone? It's like when Africans talk about time. You know, once the white man is gone, time can stop and we can just make our own time again.
Own understandings of whiteness. It seems like the biggest giant that we face, but in the end, right, it is what I like to say is, you know, black folks were out here for centuries and centuries and millennia doing all kinds of wonderful things, and probably some up things too, but whiteness is largely an inconvenient interruption. And so we then get to ask ourselves, so why am I here in this moment of it? Like, damn, you know, why did I show up in this particular iteration? And it's like, well, I think we showed up in this iteration precisely so that we could
think about it. Again, her entire black cosmology puts white people at the gravitational center. And then all of black existence is now spinning off of that white gravitational center, right? Because they interrupted our world building. Now our world is it's comprised of whiteness, right? And if we were to get whiteness out of the center of our cosmology, we could get back to building our own world, our own universe, in fact. A white free universe. An all-black multiverse, y'all. We need an all-black multiverse.
Help to figure out an end and a way to the other side of this, you know, gargantuan historical tragedy that is white supremacy.
One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish.
White people, I'm sorry. I need you to just make my day better, make me feel better. Get in my comments, apologize to me and the rest of us for on behalf of your great-great-granddaddy, for having my great-great-grandma outside pregnant or not, picking cotton in this heat. Have y'all been outside? Just say sorry. I mean, white people, I'm sorry.
We're going to take the lead from them.
White folk, you don't got to apologize to me. What I'm going to do with an apology, nigga. Reparate me.
Give me the money. Give me the money for all that I would do. Give me the money.
And then I said, we're going to be changing our priorities in each of your sections. And we're going to take the lead from the White House and the president's executive orders. And so we're still going to enforce all of these laws, but through a different lens than what you've been doing. So please put your pencils down, make sure that the work that you're doing is consistent with this direction. And if it isn't, we're going to need to change it. And you may recall that at the same time, the DOJ folks working with OMB had offered severance packages to government officials who perhaps wanted to use this opportunity to go do something else with their lives. So in the case of DOJ folks, they were offered 5-month packages, just, you know, for your average lawyer with some tenure there, it's a 6-figure lump sum. So more than half the lawyers in the Civil Rights Division reacted to these memos by quitting.
Right.
And
that was what, about 400 of them?
Well, there were over 400 lawyers, so more than 200 quit.
Right.
And then since that time, another close to 100 have quit. I mean, it's like not quite 75%, but maybe approaching 70% have quit. And they did it in phases. And I think there was some denial, and, you know, they had crying sessions together, and they had,
because you asked them to obey the law
yes,
and just follow what the democratically elected president's priorities were.
And frankly, that was just, it was shocking to them. They had unhappy hours, things like that. It was like a lot of drama and hand wringing. And they have a support group outside and a spokesperson who constantly goes on MSNBC and trashes me and what we're doing.
And so now that the government is pulling back from all these civil rights over expenditures and just being retarded really about race, expect a crazy online crash out from Black folk.
And a question for us this evening: can white people be saved? So if you have not followed this, let me state it clearly. No one is born white. Do not tell children that.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Mind blown. He said no one is born white.
And I want to understand white rage, and I'm white.
White people in the chat, help me out. How did you get white? I need to, white people, you motherfucker, you've been holding out on me. I've been watching, I've been studying y'all. I've been taking notes for like 5 years now. And none of y'all ever tell me you weren't even born white. You had to become white. How? I thought we were friends. You could tell me, you could trust me with these things. How do you become white?
No one is born white. There is no white biology, but whiteness is real. Whiteness is a working, a forming toward a maturity that destroys. Whiteness is an invitation.
So like, you just like meditate on race. Do you like, once you study the riddle of per capita, do you like somehow unlock your whiteness? You just sit like in a corner, staring at a candle, Indian style, contemplating per capita, and then one day, just you become white. Is that what the Mormons do in those temples? Is that what the Mormons do in those big white temples? Oh, you know what? Okay, I'm starting to put dots together now.
To a form of agency and a subjectivity that imagines life progressing toward what is in fact a diseased understanding of maturity, a maturity that invites us to evaluate the entire world by how far along it is toward this goal. Yes, I want to change the geography, because that is the only way.
This is a theological seminary. He's a man of God. Yeah, he is a man of God.
But if man had to find out that his God was a woman,
I say the black woman is God, and
black woman is God.
I say the black woman is God.
The black woman is God because, she was the first organism on this planet.
That's the only way to remove us from this vision, this trajectory toward death. And most importantly, I want to save people from becoming white. Thank you.
I didn't ask for your help, nigga. I don't want to be saved. I was doing fine. I was on a journey. I was going to go places no nigga has ever gone before. And here come this bald-headed, milk-dud ass nigga trying to save me. You see, it's always a nigga trying to hold a black man back. I tell you. There's always some nigga trying to hold a black man back. Let me be great. You don't even know how far I can take this. I might be the best that ever done it. You don't even know. Niggas, man, I tell you.
Is a cult. So the racists are upset that I said that whiteness is a cult. But it actually wasn't me who said this. It was actually this random guy I came across on Twitter. But that's not the point. Whiteness is a cult that is fed into by white supremacy. Your intimidation tactics doesn't change historical facts. The cult of whiteness has been spread globally, and what it has to do to maintain itself is recruit new marginalized groups. Recruiting people from marginalized groups keeps the cult fat and happy because it can then pit those individuals against other marginalized groups. It promises these.
Are you trying to tell me that racism is diverse? Is there diversity on the racism team? Because you know what? That's what I was surprised to find out when I was on Twitter. Twitter is a funny place, man. And Twitter has the most diverse racism out there. Right-wing racism is actually, like, honestly diverse. Left-wing diversity is, like, forced and gay. Right-wing diversity is like, you know, we all genuinely hate the same niggas. This is a whole other type of vibe.
Marginalized people with safety and security by giving them proximity to whiteness. And a lot of marginalized people buy into this. Are you starting to feel that knot in your chest? Yeah, that's fact hurting your feelings. But that doesn't make it any less of a fact. Whiteness is one of the most dangerous cults because it is backed by a system that offers them safety and security, and it protects them from consequence. I hope liberals of TikTok post this one. For those of you who want to leave the cult, here's a tip. Reclaim your identity outside of whiteness. Figure out who you are outside of your white identity. Leave people in places that encourage you to prioritize your white identity over the identity of others. And last but not least, read books. Whiteness.
You guys got to figure out who you are when you're not being white. Have you ever contemplated who you are when you're not being white? That's who you got to be. You got to be the you that's not the white you. You got to be the other you that's inside of the white you, the real you, the black you.
As a cult wants to keep you as ignorant as possible. You have to fight against it. Take the initiative and read books about Black history. I hope that helps. Oh, and to all the racists in my comment section, find something safe to do.
You know, speaking of Black history, y'all, you know how I feel about the Black history. Let me show you something here. I think this is Tim Walsh. He had in Minnesota, they mandated DEI classes for the kids now. You have to learn about ethnic studies and Negro shit.
My name is Kafi Manska. I'm an attorney, wife, and mom to 3 boys, 2 of which are in high school. This bill requires that schools teach ethnic studies starting in kindergarten, and I am against this. You might ask, why in the world would a Black person speak against ethnic studies? Because not everything that sounds good is good. The definition of ethnic studies right there in the statute says that there's a connection between a person's race and their stratification. The bill tells kids of color that they are stuck in a caste system based on their race. It also tells kids, and I quote, that institutions chronically favor white people and disadvantage people of color. I'm sick of everyone denying the enormous progress we've made in this country, acting like it's 1930. We used to have a race-based system. We got rid of it, and now you're all trying to bring it back. This curriculum will not help kids of color succeed. All it does is remove any reason to try. And I repeat that, it removes any reason to try. And this is not some theoretical crap. This stuff happens. These messages are very harmful. Just last month in my high schoolers band class, the teacher took 20 minutes at the beginning of class to talk about anti-racism. He told the kids to look around. And then he said the Black boys in the school would likely not live to retirement because of racism and the police. Another furious kid of color recorded this conversation. And so I was able to hear it for myself with my own ears. If this law is passed, teaching this hopelessness to kids of color will be mandated starting in kindergarten. And I can see why you white proponents of this bill might support it. It's not your kids being told that they can't succeed, and you get to shed some of your white guilt in the process. But you legislators of color, how can you? You made it despite the invisible boogeyman of systematic racism. You were voted in by a majority of white people. You hold some of the most powerful positions in this state. Yet you want to tell my kids and other kids of color that they can't succeed? It's shameful. It's terrible. I ask that you please vote against this bill. Thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, ethnic studies for your kindergartners.
Watch this right here and come back for my commentary.
Pretty much all of us have been taught by white people, who've 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 been taught by white people, taught by white people, using textbooks written for, about white people. You pretty much only ever had white teachers. So if you're white, you were relentlessly reflected at the front of the room, and you could get through graduate school without having a teacher of color, right? Or maybe one, maybe two. And if you're a person of color, rarely, if ever, did you see yourself reflected at the front of the room. So that teaching force, which is upwards of 93% white across the nation, and yet these teachers are now in the position to decide who's smart, who belongs where, who should be punished for what. And we see this empirically in the outcomes of tracking, special ed referrals, punishment, expulsion, the school to prison pipeline.
Like, I don't think y'all truly understand what Robin DiAngelo was saying here and how true it is. For instance, firstly, let's establish that roughly 80% of all teachers in this country are white, and in some districts that can be as many as, honestly, 100%. Concurrently, Black educators account for about 6% of all educators. For Black men, it's about 1.3%. And in some areas like Minnesota, where I spoke recently, Black men are only 0.5% of all educators. There is overwhelming research and data that proves that Black teachers are better for Black students. And in fact, white teachers are harmful or bad for our kids. Having a Black teacher means our kids will perform better on standardized tests. And Black children who have Black teachers are more likely to go to college and less likely to drop out. Black teachers are also more likely to recommend Black students for gifted programs, and they're less likely to suspend, expel, or refer them for discipline issues. Oh, and this impact isn't just had on Black students. Black teachers had a positive impact on every student, all students, regardless of their background. For example, being assigned a Black teacher improved students' reading and math scores. And
are you really trying to tell me that Black teachers make everybody smarter? Is that your final position? Black teachers just make the kids smarter?
Nigga, please.
Serious.
Decreased chronic absenteeism by roughly 60%. So does this mean that Black folks are just better teachers than white folks? Well, no, not necessarily. I mean, we can all probably say that we've had great teachers of all backgrounds. I know I have, but it's something that Black folks as educators mostly do differently that we can all learn from. And that is, Black teachers culturally demand better and have higher expectations for their Black students. And not just for their Black students, but for all students. And as an educator of 12 years, where 10 years I taught in a diverse school, I can tell you that this is true. On the flip side, studies show that white teachers, when given the same student as a Black teacher, is less likely to see that child as college material. And why is that? Well, it's based on social conditioning. White teachers work from within a hegemony.
What if the white teacher is just more honest? The Black teacher like, man, I want to shoot this little Black kid hopes down. White guy's like, listen, Jamal, you ever heard of trade school? No, seriously, Jamal, there's this place called Trade School. They have like tools and stuff. They have drills and power tools. You'll love it. It's noisy. Stuff is in there. It's crazy. All the dudes go there. You'll be all right. Meanwhile, his social studies teacher, Mr. Malik, he's like, nah, Jamal, you go to college. You can become a philosopher and shit.
Western epistemological framework, which often predisposes them to have lower expectations of Black students and a lack of respect for the students' families and primary culture. We're not saying that Black teachers can wave a magic wand, but what we're saying is this research suggests that white teachers' failure to address or value Black students' primary culture could also be a significant factor in their academic success. So what do we do moving forward? Well, the first step is, of course, we need more Black educators, but it's not enough to just say we need more Black teachers. Y'all know how I feel. Representation matters is an incomplete sentence.
You know, they always say we need more black this, we need more black that. We just need more black people in general. Just generally just boost up the population numbers, and you know, people will start to fill out those roles, you know.
We need to cultivate, mentor, and recruit black folks who we know have a nurturing, caring, and conscious spirit that's in tune with our culture to go into the classroom. Number two, white folks, there's hope for you. You need to truly challenge yourself, question yourself, reflect, and understand.
White people, this black guy with an afro, he wants you to challenge yourself, white people. All right, listen to the fro. Believe the fro. Trust the fro, white people.
That you are included in these studies, no matter how much you've learned or how many of my videos you've watched, and understand that you have to set those high expectations for our kids and also understand the backgrounds in which they come from. And no, expectations alone won't cure this, but starting with that as an endpoint means that you'll understand the barriers that are in place and work to remove them using your place of privilege and your position to power to make sure that they can be as successful as they are supposed to be. Because let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it real. If you don't have relationships with black folks outside of what you see in the media, where we are mostly depicted as gang members, gang bangers, gangsters, and thugs, and you're not reading.
But that's the media that black people create and black people like enjoy the most, though. It'd be one thing if the majority of black folk were like, no, I actually watch, you know, I watch water polo. I listen to Taylor Swift, right? If the majority of the black people were into these other things, it'd be different. But a lot of the black folk are into these very things that you now want to deny are major parts of black culture. Can't have it both ways. Right. You niggas got mad at the Cosby Show. The Cosby Show wasn't real enough. It wasn't street enough. You ain't have no real niggas on the Cosby Show. Bill Cosby had all of them kids and none of them was a real nigga.
In books, and you're not unlearning, and you're not committed to this anti-racist life, then how do you expect to view our kids differently when you go into the class if this is the prototype that you have for blackness? The third thing, and this is not a full list, but this is what I'm giving you now, read.
Black history saved my life. Said no serious person ever. Said we had Urkel. We had Urkel. You niggas was doing drive-bys while we had Urkel. Telling me about black representation and shit. You niggas had Urkel on TV, but you walk outside your house and it was drive-bys going on. It was crack being sold. It was booty being taken. Kids being abused. And we had Urkel on TV. But this nigga talk about black history saved my life. No, it didn't. A bulletproof vest saved your life, nigga. Your local police department saved your life. The paramedics and the EMS saved your life.
Learn. Understand that you don't know it all. Sign up for that online course that you need to sign up for. Your college did not prepare you for this. Your life did not prepare you for this. So at this point in your life, you're at a preschool level primarily in terms of understanding racial issues and understanding black culture. So act like that.
He said white people are at a preschool level when understanding racial issues. You know, it's so weird. And this is how the grift works, right? This is how the grift works. Black folk go to school, and instead of studying like engineering and mathematics or business management and banking and finance, you know, the money-making things, right? They become proficient in the history of racism. And they learn all about how white people are racist, right? And then when they graduate school with this knowledge of racism, and they got that paper on the wall, well, now they're a certified genius, right? And now they look down at you for not knowing the name of every town that was burned down in 1901. And how in the hell does that help you get to the moon, nigga? You niggas is over here studying grievances from 100 years ago learning them Shaka Zulu's secret middle name and Whitey's on the moon.
Like that, because you'll continue to have this hunger and thirst for knowledge. That bachelor's degree, that master's degree, that doctorate you got, that don't mean nothing when you're talking about what we dealing with. Matter of fact, in the classroom, we have a doctorate in our experience, and you are the child. And lastly, do not expect your black friends or black co-workers or black acquaintances to teach you a thing. This is your responsibility. You must commit to it. You must invest in it. You must bring in experts, myself, and other people do this type of work for a living. With Robin DiAngelo,
he's an expert, y'all. The nigga is an expert at being black. He's an expert in him. He is an expert at being black, right? And he's black, so therefore he's an expert in him. He is widely knowledgeable in him, in all things him related. He is widely knowledgeable. I tell you, these people get on my nerves, man. I can't wait till Trump take all y'all money away. I can't wait till Trump dry up your whole piggy bank, man.
I'm telling you, man. This the reason why I be hating niggas, man. I'm telling you, man. It just be us. I be hating niggas, man.
Does marriage close the racial wealth gap for Black Americans?
Apparently not. We know now that the average white family, that's a single parent family, has about 2 times the wealth of the average Black family that has 2 parents.
So cross that off.
Yeah.
Does going to college close the racial wealth gap for Black Americans?
Well, I'm definitely a fan of going to college, but it
As
doesn't
am I.
close the racial wealth gap. A Black head of household with a college degree has 2/3 of the net worth of a white head of household who never finished high school.
Ain't nothing you niggas could do. These are the educated professional Black people telling all the other Black people there's nothing you niggas can do. Nothing. Tried everything. It ain't work. White man just got whiter and I got broker. Tried everything. Tried it all, nigga.
Cross that off.
Yeah.
What about savings? Black people should just stop buying Jordans and save their money. And if they did that, if they saved all their money and were better savers, they could close the racial wealth gap.
Right. So if Black people weren't so attracted to bling, we'd eliminate the racial wealth gap. Well, the evidence suggests that that's not true either. If anything, if we were to take into account the income of a household, Black households save as much as white households. And in fact, in some...
Who really believes that? Think about the logic, all right? Let me just run a logic theorem to you, right? If everybody accepts that women tend to be a lot looser with money than men, and Black households tend to be a lot more female dominated than white households, does that really translate into just Black households tend to be better with money than white households? Is that really what you want me to believe? These educated Negroes say the most amazing things.
Income categories, Black households actually have than white households.
So if the actual facts don't back up this notion that Black people just need to change our behavior and we could eliminate the wealth gap between Black and white Americans, why are these myths so persistent?
Are you telling me that Black folk are perfect and it's everything else is the white man's fault? Black folk have done nothing wrong and it's just all the white man's fault.
I'm done with life, and it's all Jermaine's fault. It's always Jermaine's fault.
Well, I think part of it is ignorance. I think that people have misperceptions about a number of things, and some of these misperceptions are about American history.
So marriage doesn't close that income gap. Black people going to college doesn't close it. How much Black people save, none of that closes that income gap between Black people and white people. And I literally remember Black people saying that other Black people should stop buying Jordans and buying jewelry, where today Jordans are like an investment. Jordans, you can sell them for at any condition they're in. And
I want you to peep the chain of stupidity, how it works, right? You got the smart Black people on the TV program. You know, they went to college, they educated and shit. They like, look, there's nothing you can do. It doesn't matter if you save your money. Doesn't matter if you buy your Jordans, right? And then now the dumb nigga with the fitted cap on, he like, Jordans are an investment. The value of my Jordans, they appreciate like Bitcoin. Do you now understand the chain of stupidity? And it goes all the way back to the civil rights movement. The civil rights movement spawned this shit. These stupid niggas spawned a generation of stupid niggas that are spawning another generation of stupid niggas. And it's all a downward spiral. But I'm going to buy me some Jordans, though. I got a taste for Jordans after watching this video now.
You know, jewelry is an investment. And of course, you always heard the other side talking about stop complaining, you're making excuses, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, stop being a victim, blah, blah, blah. You also had the study that came out a few years ago that said in order for the net worth of a black family to reach that of a white family, it would take 228 years. So apparently none of these assertions about why there's a wealth income gap between black and white, all of the things that even black people were saying about other black people, and of course what the other side was saying about black people, they were not true. And it stems from ignorance and a lack of knowledge of the history of America.
Black people, I got a plan. That's what we do, right? We all go out and buy us like some classic Jordans, right? Not none of these, you know, these new models they keep coming out with all the fancy colors. No, you find like some old school OG classic Jordans, right? And you buy them and then you hold them and then you have a baby. And then when your baby is 18, you give the classic Jordans to your baby. Boom, instant generational wealth. Tell me that's not a fucking plan. Tell me that's not a plan. You get you like a pair of Jordan 3s or whatever, and you hold on to them. You never even take them out the box except that one time and just look at them and you take a picture of them that one time, bam, you know, and then you close the box, you wrap the box in saran wrap or whatever. You go down to a bank, you get you like a safe deposit box and you put the Jordans in the bank in the safe deposit box and you hold that there until your baby is 18 years old. And then when the baby's 18, it's like, look, happy birthday, son. I thought about you. Generational wealth, little nigga. Fresh J's. Tell me that's not a fucking plan. That is a plan for generational wealth. Come on, man. You niggas just don't be thinking. I be thinking. That's my problem. I think too much.
Trigger warning. This is about race because everything is about race. A 70-year-old white farmer. I am emphasizing on the age and the race, because it's going to show you, give you an understanding, a deeper understanding of the mindset, the mentality of this person, of this particular individual. A 70-year-old white farmer ran over the legs of a 6-year-old boy because the boy picked up an orange from the ground.
Ooh.
Christoffel Stoneman, 70 years old, drove head on into a 6-year-old boy because he said that the boy was stealing his oranges. Witnesses actually state that the boy
was stealing his oranges. Oh, God. Oh, man. All right. I'm going to stop laughing. Kids don't steal oranges.
Boy wasn't stealing. He had simply picked up an orange that had already fell on the floor. It was already on the floor. However, that didn't
I don't know how orange tree laws work, and I'm not saying that you should just run little boys over or whatever. That's clearly a little OD, right? I mean, he's 70 years old. Maybe the truck ran out of power. I don't know what the truck went out of control. I don't know. But let's say you have an orange tree, right? And you have oranges growing on your orange tree. And then the orange that's growing on your orange tree, it falls off the tree and hits the ground. Boom. Does the orange that grew on your orange tree stop being your orange now that it hit the ground under your orange tree? Is there a lawyer in the chat?
Mattered to Mr. Stoneman as he drove head on into a 6-year-old boy, breaking both of his legs.
I mean, that is crazy though.
And his mother, unfortunately, could do nothing but just helplessly watch. When investigated, right, and questioned by police, Stoneman stated that he would do it again. He said, I would do it again.
God damn it. God damn it. Listen, when I get 70 years old, I'm gonna be just like him. I don't care. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Give me life? Oh man, crazy old guy. Oh man, Jesus Christ, crazy old people.
6 years old. But don't worry, I got pictures in case you can't visualize it yourself. Here's the man, the 70-year-old, evil, heartless, racist man, right? And here's the boy,
Damn, son.
a 6-year-old, both of his legs broken
Damn.
over a fucking orange. Over a fucking orange. And this is his mom's face in court, trying to get justice for her son. You see,
He got a dad? I wonder where is daddy at?
when I made that video and I said that I wanted segregation, somebody actually got into my comments and said, I don't think that you want segregation. After I just revealed this information to you, why the fuck wouldn't I? Why the fuck wouldn't I? Do you think that this would have happened if it was a black farmer? You think that a black farmer was gonna drive head first into a 6-year-old?
So you want segregation?
Wouldn't I? Do you think I revealed this information to you? Why the fuck wouldn't I? Why the fuck wouldn't I? Do you think that this would have happened if it was a black farmer? You think that a black farmer was gonna drive head first into a 6-year-old, regardless of their race? A 6-year-old child over a fucking orange? And do you think that there would be anything where people are actually trying to fight for fucking justice in a circumstance like this? He literally said, the person who, the 70-year-old racist literally said, I would do it again. I would do it again. I would drive headfirst into a 6-year-old because they picked up an orange.
How do we know he's racist? Maybe he's tired of people stealing his oranges. You know how expensive orange juice is? And not for nothing. Do you know how old people get about their orange juice? Really, I promise you. Don't get in between old people and their orange juice is all I'm saying. How do we even know he was a racist?
Please segregate me.
A black girl who wants segregation. Interesting. Interesting. Now all of a sudden you niggas act like you want to go back in time when it was a better time. Now all of a sudden you want to act like it was different. It was better back then. You see how wishy-washy niggas is?
Simplest, most fundamental form of the idea behind all of it is this. Everything is going to shit. We all know the way things used to be. We all know the way it used to be because we've seen the videos, and it's like a portal to another universe. You see these videos of LA, Detroit, Chicago, St. Louis, New York, San Francisco in the 1950s, the 1940s, and we see what it was like, and we see what we could have had, and it's lost. It's gone. And everyone knows it. Everyone knows things have gotten worse. And we know exactly why. Because in 1968, MLK Jr. got shot and race riots destroyed all those cities. Detroit was the Paris of the Midwest. Now it's a fucking dump. And then after all the cities got turned into a dump and the whites fled, then they poured the immigrants in. And then for 50 years, we were subjected to wave after wave, unrelenting of immigrants that we did not desire, that are not making our country better. And that doesn't mean that they're horrible people. We don't need to say they're bad people, but they're people that are not improving the country. We all know that the types of things that we had qualitatively are different.
Right, the good thing. White conservatives to say.
She says, how do you answer the comment that good did come out of the civil rights movement?
This whole thing of whether or not anything good came out of the civil rights movement. The answer to that question is no. It's interesting whenever white people interview me about the civil rights movement. This is typically where my mind goes. This is like, okay, for white conservatives to say, well, shouldn't we celebrate the good things King did? Yeah, I understand all the bad things and I understand the philandering and I understand the Marxism, but what about the good things? Shouldn't we like at least recognize him and honor him as what race relations ought to be and a symbol of hope? Like, no. I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine. But while you have your symbol, the so-called Black community is in shambles.
Yes, correct.
So you get something good out of it in terms of you get to feel all cozy and warm on the inside that, oh, look at you. We have this great American who did some good things. Meanwhile, these Black people whose grandfathers and great grandfathers were actually putting hand to plow and actually on an upward mobility, upward trajectory, only to be betrayed by their own children who decided to go march with King against their parents' will, thereby creating this domino effect of entitlement, of begging, of a smug disposition, of so on and so forth. I'm supposed to be thankful for that?
Right.
No.
Now y'all ain't gonna march. Y'all can't march.
No, man, we're not gonna march. We just gonna go down to the courthouse.
Cause I ain't able.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't think much good came out of the civil rights movement. I mean, you got this I Have a Dream speech. You have this law that's on the books that gives the government more power and more of a foothold in the way that small companies are. Yeah, and so it infringes upon our constitutional right to freedom of association. Yeah, big government. It has created this smug disposition among so-called Blacks, and it's created this kind of timidity among so-called whites where they walk on eggshells around Blacks so as to not
generational dependence on the government.
Exactly. And so it's like it's done more to Sovietize America than it's done to get us back to the true edicts of the constitutional republic. And so, no, I don't think anything good came out of the so-called civil rights movement.
Now, he just mentioned smug Black people, which is basically what all the clips I've been playing today. So let's get back into the smug Black people.
In the United States, racism is about promoting and maintaining white supremacy, the belief that white people are inherently superior to all other peoples of the world. And this includes everything about white people, their bodies, their aesthetics, their beliefs, customs, values. White supremacy maintains that white people are uniquely suited for citizenship and self-governance, that they ought to wield dominion and authority over all of creation, and that this is the way that God intends it. The cleverness of white supremacy is that it convinces us that it is the victims of racism who are the problem, when really the problem lies in the hearts, minds, bodies, and souls of the oppressors. Indeed, if anything has become clear since the election of November 2016, it is that America has.
Notice she kind of takes on the affectations of like a spiritual, like a healer. This bitch is a shaman. She is a shaman right now, casting a spell to cleanse you of your whiteness.
Is a problem, and its name is whiteness. So, white people, how does it feel to be a problem? Now, you might be uncomfortable by my explicit naming of whiteness and my use of terms like white people. It might feel like an insult or an accusation, but that itself is part of the problem. Why is it, after all, that we can use terms like Black and Latinx and Indigenous and Asian American, but when we say white people cringe? Why is it that I am comfortable checking off the black box on survey forms, but white people don't like to have their race named out loud? Why is it that I can have a racial identity and white people cannot? That my race is marked, but whiteness is considered normal, neutral, just American? So again, I'll ask, how does it feel to be a problem? And
you know, it feels good. Yeah, it feels good.
Topic that is far overdue.
and it's called the white person syndrome. You know, it's a topic that can be challenging sometimes, but it's a topic that
Oh,
I think that
white person syndrome? Is this like a medical condition? Can I get time off for work for this?
today we're going to be looking at a topic that is far overdue, and it's called.
Can I go out on disability for white person syndrome? Like, especially like as a black man. If I were to somehow contract white person syndrome, do you think my job would give me like a month off or maybe, to get black again?
Today we're going to be looking at a topic that is far overdue, and it's called the white person syndrome. You know, it's a topic that can be challenging sometimes, but it's a topic that I think that we really need to look at. We need to.
So I argue that I didn't create racism, so it's your job to fix it, right? But
very, very important to have these kinds of conversations because if you look at where Ireland is going, sometimes I really get scared, and we all know that Ireland is becoming more diverse, and with that comes a lot of pushback from some people who feel like people are invading their land.
You kind of are, though. I swear, I hate these global niggas, man. These global niggas is the worst of them all.
And we've seen that with the series of protests we've had in the past few months, and there's this anti-migrant sentiment, and I think it stems from the fact that a lot of people don't understand where some of these migrants are coming from. They don't understand why they're here. They don't understand, what they're here for. And there is a gap in terms of communication between, the traditional white Irish people and others who are here. Because a lot of people feel like, you come into Ireland, you're coming to just take away. But if you understand people, you understand their cultures, you understand, that they are actually coming here to make a living, it will help you. So I think a lot of people need some sort of education. We need to talk to ourselves more. That's lacking right now. So because if we allow the quiet few to keep talking, because I believe those people who are who have some of this syndrome or who are anti-migrants, for example, they're few, but they're very loud. So we have to find a way to quieten them.
Freeman's Journal say they believe in racism more than they believe they are a carbon-based life form. Could you imagine him attempting to explain carbon? Hell, I don't even know how to explain that shit.
Okay, so racial privilege plus the misuse of power equals racism. Yes. Does that make sense? So in our culture in the United States, white folks hold power. That doesn't mean other folks don't have power, but in this construct, in this culture, white folks hold power. We live in a system of white supremacy. So when you have what is called horizontal oppression, or oppression that occurs between people of color,
horizontal
what that
oppression.
is doing,
Hold up. Horizontal oppression? Have you ever been oppressed horizontally? Has anyone in here ever been oppressed horizontally? How about standing up in the kitchen? Anybody ever been oppressed standing up in the kitchen? How about with a leg up in the air? She says horizontal oppression. I'm not sure what she's getting at anymore.
supremacy. So when you have what is called horizontal oppression, or oppression that occurs between people of color, what that is doing is upholding white supremacy because it's causing infighting. But that doesn't necessarily mean that racism is happening. It means racial discrimination is happening. If I am poor, but I am white, I can still be racist because my whiteness gives me skin color privilege. Does that make sense? What I can't be if I'm poor is classist because I don't have power as it relates to class. Okay, we have intersecting identities. We all hold power in different places. We can all leverage power in different places. And what we are focusing on is race.
Now, there's one last thing I want to show you guys. We were going through all of these videos of just retarded pro-blackness, and this whole thing got started with Trump saying that the civil rights movement has been very unkind to white people. And if you've been listening to me for a while, I've been kind of making my points about Western culture and Western civilization and all that. And I've noticed something happening on the internet. There's a new breed of, I don't know how to call it, pro-white black people. The Ubercoons.
Says, in housing, in welfare, they have tried everything to help Black people out. I personally believe that white people need reparations at this. I was telling my girlfriend, I said, white people need reparations. White people need reparations from the government because they didn't just send y'all Negroes back across the seas after they freed y'all.
I've been noticing this growing trend for a while. The Keishawaffen. This is an unpredictable weapon. I don't know if the battlefield is ready for the Keishawaffen. You have no idea what the hell she can unleash on the battlefield.
Says, in housing, in welfare, they have tried everything to help Black people out. I personally believe that white people need reparations at this. I was telling my girlfriend, I said, white people need reparations. White people need reparations from the government because they didn't just send y'all Negroes back across the seas after they freed y'all. But white people have been suffering with y'all for 200 years and they sick of y'all. They sick of, it's never enough. It's never enough. You want freedom? Okay, they gave you that. You want welfare? They gave you that. They gave you DEI. They gave you everything, and it's never enough. Now you say you want reparations. I seen what y'all did with them COVID checks. So reparations ain't gonna do nothing. Says, in housing, in welfare.
Like I said, there is a whole new wave on the internet. And what I really think is happening is that all this right-wing, all this left-wing, progressive, just ridiculous pro-blackness, it's gone way too far. It's gone so far that a lot of just casual observers, just regular Black folk who are paying attention, people who have decent pattern recognition abilities, they're just looking at how things are working. It's like, no, you know what? I think you niggas are crazy, man. I really do. I really do think you niggas are crazy. I know you can tell me all this, that, and the third about the white folk, but when I really pay attention to how things are playing around.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with y'all? You niggas are crazy.
It's funny, but don't you see the way that white people hold other white people accountable when they do fuck shit that's bad for America and bad for the country? Like the way that they're getting mad at Renee Good for impeding federal officers who were trying to do their fucking job and they getting shot for it. They're like, oh yeah, you dumb bitch. Of course you got fucking shot. Why are you stopping federal officers from doing their fucking job? But the thing is, all these non-white races in this country don't give a fuck about the country. They give a fuck about their race first and only. This is why you will have Black people who will defend career criminals and drug addicts like George Floyd no matter fucking what. This is why you will have Jews who will lobby the shit out of Trump so he can pardon other scammy Jews like Tim Liwek from prison who are going to scam the rest of the fucking country. This is why you'll have Somalians defend other Somalians that are committing fraud. This is why you'll have Latinos that will help other Latinos hop the fucking border and come here legally. This is why you'll have Indians that will skip over capable people for jobs and hire other fucking Indians instead. You have all these non-white fucking people here who will do shit that's bad for the country, but is good for their fucking race. And white people over here, the only ones actually thinking about what's best for fucking America. This is why multiculturalism is fucking stupid and it's fucking gay. And if you actually care about America, you don't actually want more non-white people here. In fact, you want these niggas to all fucking get out of here because these people only give a fuck about themselves and their race. They don't care about America. If you make America less white, you get more people in this fucking country that don't give a fuck about the country. Your country dies. If the country becomes less non-white and all these niggas go the back fucking home, what happens? Your country becomes more powerful because you have more people, specifically white people, who actually care about the nation and will do things to ensure the integrity of the nation remains.
That boy good. That boy right there. That boy good. That my nigga right there. That boy good.
Oh, yeah.
What happened to your shaft?
There's powerful niggardry at work here.
White nationalism, hate, a bad motherfucker. Think about all the things that you hate about fucking America: transgenderism, liberalism, mass migration, Jewish control of our government, a bad economy, crime, race wars, whatever the fuck it is. Think about it all, everything that you hate. And what solved all of this in history? White nationalism. Think back to the middle of the 20th century. The most powerful empires that we've ever seen grace this planet: British Empire, Nazi Germany, the United States of America. What did all of these countries have in common? White pride, white ego, intensity in the eyes of white people, intention with what they were building, with what they were creating. The most powerful militaries you ever seen on the fucking planet, global influence, all of this shit. It all came down to white pride and white fucking ego. Transgenderism, fever dream. Feminism, liberalism, impossible. Jewish power, Jewish control of the government. Gotten rid of it completely. Mass migration, can't even think about it. Somalians, what the fuck? Not even a fucking question or a debate. All of these things were fucking gone. Prosperity reigned, economy great, families together. Jesus Christ, for the most part, was at the center of all of this shit when white pride, white ego, and white nationalism was fucking on top. So what does this mean for me and you? It means that if you want a better America, if you want a powerful America, if you want a prosperous America, then what you're fucking asking for is white nationalism. And the sooner that you accept that fact and get behind that fact, then we're going to have the America we want in an instant.
Yeah. It's my nigga right there. I agree. I've been talking like that. I've been pointing that out. I've been making those arguments. I've been low-key trying to explain to Black America that the biggest fear in the world is not white nationalism. I promise you, there are worse nightmares in this world that you're going to have to deal with. And then he's not even the most like extra with it. Let me show you who's personally the most extra with it. And of course, it has to be Akeisha.
Renee Nicole Good died being a nigger lover. She died because she wanted to protect niggers who would not piss on her if she was on fire. Anybody saying that she didn't try to run them over, you're a nigger lover. Thank you. My message to white liberals is that these people want you dead regardless. It doesn't matter. Give them everything they want. Let them scam. They still hate you. They still hate white people. They hate you. Can't feel bad for these people. When you have that superiority complex, that you're a white woman saving the niggers. Oh, I have a mission. I have to save the niggers. And the funniest thing is the very people that she was out there and got shot for are making fun of her death. They're not hailing her as a hero. Renee Nicole.
Yeah, like I said, she's like the most egregious of the bunch. She just, flies off the handle with it. It is what it is. But she the Keisha Watson is an unpredictable weapon on the battlefield. How do you deal with that? I dare you to give her a hate crime charge. On the internet, you know what they call her on Twitter? They call her the Black Candace Owens, y'all. I swear to God. They call her the Black Candace Owens on Twitter. It's crazy work. It's crazy work. It really is. It really is. Oh, man. There's a lot of things happening. 2026 is going to be a fun year. 2026 is going to be a real fun year. You know what? Before we get out of here, there's one last thing I want to share with you guys. Hit that like button from me, y'all. Hit that like button. I got one last thing before we get out of here. Shout out to the white man and all of this little creative genius. This nigga probably German or something.
Here's an update on my easel that turns back into a cabinet, has a hidden drying rack, lid storage, a drafting surface on top with a lean bar, not to mention a lean bar on the easel down below, an adjustable work cradle, and ports that can support an array of removable drying racks. I designed this build myself, but I don't have a workshop, so I do all of the cutting underneath the Brooklyn Queens Expressway. The lumber that I've used for the build is entirely salvaged wood, mostly pallets, crates, and shelving boards that I've sanded down. Most of the assembly is done in my apartment, meaning I use screws, pegs, and glue instead of nails, which would require hammering, which would annoy the neighbors. This update is for a removable materials flat that I installed under the drying rack. After a day of painting, I often have a table full of messy supplies. Maybe I don't want to put everything back where it belongs. Maybe I just want to get it out of the way. This way, if you want to pick up where you left off, everything's right there. Thank you for watching.
Shout out to the white man, y'all. Creative little motherfucker.
Somebody had to do it. I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it.
Anyway, it's been fun. It's been fun. I'm going to wrap this one up right here, y'all. You guys have a great day. Hit that like button on your way out. Throw $1 in the hat on your way out. We are going to end this one here. Thank you so much for watching.
Give me the money. Give me the money for all that I would do. Give me the money.
Come on, share your dollar. Give me your dollar. Share your dollar with me. Come on.
We're going to put this one in the bag, though. Appreciate you guys coming out. Have a great day. Thank you so much for coming. Please like, share, and subscribe. Join the church if you get a chance.
Get it again. Okay, I'm going to say it again. I come in the name of Jesus. Repeat it after me, bitch. I come in the name of Jesus by the power of the Holy Spirit.
Aspiring to be patriarchs like what white men have, that isn't freedom. That isn't going to help anybody. It's certainly not going to help black people.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.